TypeScript does is that it compiles the code and it transpiles the ES6, ES7, and ES8 code to the ES5 code, which is supported by most of the browsers. Okay, so in ECMAScript, it is nothing but ES6.5 plus new features are added like classes, modules, constants, arrow functions. Those are added, and it is TypeScript is a JavaScript implementation only, and it is open source and it was developed by Microsoft. And moving on to the actual Angular uh, components. Does anyone have any questions up till now? I think we can go ahead if anyone doesn't have any questions. What are Angular components? So as you know that components are basic building blocks. So Angular is an application and components are nothing but very small building blocks of the application. Hello. Okay. So uh, Angular, I mean, components are nothing but the basic building blocks of Angular applications. You don't have to worry about the theory about this. I will obviously, I mean, show you the actual implementation, how all these things work in an application. So components are but nothing but small pieces of UI, and it has template, which is the HTML part, which we see on the view. Then there is a logic, like some complex logic or simple logic, whatever we write in the application, and it has styling. Like if a page is there, then we just style the application to look at the look. I mean, to update the looks, which will be more user friendly to the users. Okay, and components are reusable and they can be embedded into template as an XML like tag. So whenever we create a component, it is the I mean the denotion for component is that at the rate component. Okay, and then inside selector it will be the name of the component. Okay, the template URL, basically the HTML template, and these are services basically which we will learn in the next slides. Okay, Angular services. So Angular services are nothing but singleton objects. Okay, so whatever complex logic you write in an application, and if you want to reuse that function or logic, then you just add it into the services. Okay, also you can use these services for fetching data from the server, then validating a user input. So suppose a user is writing a name, okay, and you have to put some validation on the input, like the name should is a required field, and if user submits without entering the mandatory data, then the validation can be done inside services. Okay, and also you can do logging part inside the console directly through services. And Angular service contains data that is maintained throughout the life of an application. So the data doesn't go unless and until you log out of an application. You can share the data across multiple components. So if you want to share data from one component to another, then there are multiple ways how you can share the data. Okay, and Angular services are one of the ways through which you can share. Then just getting on to the actual implementation. Okay, what I'll say is that we can start with the actual practical and the CLI basically. So to install Angular CLI, I think does all of you have Node installed in your system, or do you need to install?
The node is there in the system.
So can everyone check what is the version of the Node which is installed? I mean, you just have to go command prompt and type node -v. So it will just give you the version of the node.
It's version 20, sir.
Okay. So the version should be, currently we will be doing the practical for Angular version 17, which is the latest version. So for that, we will be requiring Node version 20.9.0. So if anyone is having lower version, then they can just, I'll just paste the link from where they can download the Node version. Okay. So ma'am, is not chat disabled?
So chat is on. Can you send it to me? I will put it in there. And meanwhile, I will just change the setting.
Sorry.
Sir, is chat window is not available to you?
No, it is not available.
Okay, sir, can you send it to me? I will post it in the chat section.
Okay. So you can download from the second link, Node.js version 20.9.0, and just install it. And after that, again run the command node-v. So let me know once this is done, then we can move ahead. Meanwhile, everyone already having their node version as version 20.9, they can just go ahead and update, add Angular, I mean, just install Angular version 13 as well. So you can just run this command in the command prompt, npm install -g @angular/cli 17.3.3. If you just go to Angular CLI npm and just copy the command from here as well.
Students, the download link is there. You can download
Yes.
those you are not having.
Once node setup is done, then they can just go ahead and install Angular CLI as well. You just need to search @angular/CLI on Google and npm, and then just copy the command from here as well. So the version which will get installed is the latest one, 17.3.3. This is a free license, MIT license, and it is Angular is an open source, so we can use it for free. It doesn't have any subscriptions. And once Angular is installed, you can just run this command as well to check the version of the Angular, ng version. When you will run ng version, it will give you the Angular version, Angular CLI version, Node version as well, and the npm Node package manager version as well. Let me know once this is done, then we can move ahead.
Is it done, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me know if anyone have any difficulties installing this Node and Angular. Okay, so I think most of you must have installed Node as well as Angular, and the version for Angular should be 17.3.3. So we'll be learning and implementing in the latest version only. Also, you can just install a couple of more packages, libraries which are used along with Angular. So you can just run this command npm I npm install bootstrap primeng and primeng icons. So you can just run this command as well. So to create a new Angular project, what we'll do is that we'll just go to some folder, and we can just create a new folder inside that. We can create some sample name. Just click on command prompt, and the command to create a new Angular application is ng new. Then you just have to give the name of the application. Like I'm just creating a hello world application. Okay, and I currently from Angular 16 there is a new concept called standalone components. So we won't be using that because we will be more focusing on the module approach currently, which is the older approach. So just okay. So once you run this command, ng new hello world will be the name of the application which we are creating, and we just have to pass this configuration no standalone, which won't be creating a standalone application. Once you click enter, then it will ask you what type of style sheet you would like to use. So we will be using SCSS. So just press down arrow and go to SCSS and then press enter. So as I told you that Angular is also used for server side rendering, and so currently we won't be implementing the server side feature. So we just have to enter n and just go ahead and click enter. So it will install all the packages that are required for the while creating the Angular application. So these are all default packages that are getting installed. Anyone having any queries can just unmute and go ahead with whatever queries they are having. Okay, so as you can see here, the project is already created and all the packages are installed successfully as well. So we just need to press CD and navigate to the new project which was just created. So I will just press CD tab.
Sir, your screen is not visible.
A screen is not visible.
Is it visible to students? How will? Yes, sir, it is visible. Okay.
Okay. So you just need to navigate to the new folder application which we created. You can just add CD and just press tab, just go to the hello world application which we created. Now, if we want to run the application, we just have to see, we just created a new. Firstly, we installed Node. Then after that, we installed Angular CLI as well. Then we check the version of the Angular and Node using this command. And then for creating a new Angular project, this is the command. This is the command ng new. Then the project name what you want to give. And I also gave the configuration as standalone, no standalone, because we are not creating a standalone application currently. Okay. Then after that, we just need to navigate to the newly created application folder and run this command ngserve. I'll just run ngserve. Now it will build the application and then we should be able to run it. So currently the application is running on the port localhost 4200. If you go to your browser and just run localhost 4200 and press enter, see, we have all successfully created a sample application, hello world application. This is the application name which we created here as well. You can, we have created a sample application. Okay, and this is the uh, basic template which we get via when we create the Angular application. So I'll just open this. I think most of everyone must be having Visual Studio Code installed in their system.
Yes, sir, they are having Visual Code.
Visual Studio Code, na? Okay. So we can open our application directly. Just go to new window, open folder, navigate to the folder which we created. Okay, application, and I'll just select it. Just stop it from here. For stopping the application, you just have to press Control C. Okay, and I'll just close the command prompt from here and open a new terminal from Visual Studio Code only. And I'll run ngserve from here. Okay, the application is running and we can check here again. To give a to give you all a brief summary about the architecture of the Angular. So this is the project, I mean application structure. Okay, there is a .angular folder which contains the cached files for the Angular. And this is the VS Code folder. We don't have much to do about these things currently. We will just be focusing on the source folder which contains our actual code. Okay, so going to the package.json file, here you can see this is the file where we all the dependencies for your projects are installed. So we installed Angular CLI, as you can see here, which is a dev dependency. So there are two types of dependencies: dev dependencies which are only used for the development purposes. So these all packages are only used for development purposes. Okay, and dependencies which are distributed to the actual customer. Okay, so currently, as you can see, the version which is installed for the application is 17.3.3. Okay, then it has also installed RxJS, which is used for asynchronous programming. Okay, then router module is also installed, as we have saw about. It is used for navigation purposes. Router module is also installed. Okay, and here it is the name for the application, hello world. Okay, and this contains the script so which we run. So ng and ngserve. So if we run npm start, it will still run this command ngserve. Okay. Then going into the main folder, which is the source folder, it contains app, assets, and main.ts and index.html file. So as you all know that Angular is a single page application. So this is the main page where all the application gets bootstrapped. Okay. So this is the main file, main.ts file. And inside this, if you can see here, there is a bootstrap module, app module. So app module is the main module of our Angular application. Okay, this is the module and it is bootstrapped inside the main.ts file. So this is a single page application. So app root, basically app root, here you can see there is a app root. So whatever the changes are done in your application, those will get reflected inside this body section only. Okay, the entire all the file contents will be same, only the pages will get updated inside this app root body section. Okay, then moving on to the app module. App module is the main module for your application and it contains declarations like there is a app component. We learned about components which are basic building blocks. Okay, so here this is the app component. It contains what are components. Components are nothing but templates, which is the HTML. Okay, and then it contains some styling. You can just go here and see what are components. Components are pieces of UI which contains template, HTML, then logic and styling. So here you can see we are having a HTML file, okay, which contains the view of the application. If you can scroll down, this is the view of the application. Okay, hello, this is the title, hello, which is given from the app component, I mean the logic file, which is the TS file, TypeScript file. Okay, and all these stylings are given in the app component.scss file. Okay, so here currently we are just declaring a property named as title and it is set to hello world. So if we want to update this, you can just update to welcome to Angular 17. Okay, and just save it. Okay, and you will see the magic that the app gets automatically refreshed. The title which we updated is now updated on the UI as well. So we don't have to restart our application completely. Okay, it will automatically reload. Whatever the changes we are doing, it will automatically get reload on our application. So this is the advantage of Angular. It is much faster than other other front-end frameworks. Okay, so moving on to the routing module. So this is all where this is the routes basically for our application. So if we want to have multiple components in our application and navigate to other pages, then we can give routes in this uh, routes property basically. So any questions up till now? Okay, so moving on to the assets folder. Here we can add our images which will be used in our applications. Then if we are having any mock JSON files as well, we can add in the assets folder, and fonts as well you can add. So fonts, if you want to use for your application, that as well you can add in the assets folder. Okay, so we just have created a sample application and learned about how to create an application in Angular and basic application in Angular. So if that is done, we can just move ahead with the actual assignment which we will be implementing today. So I mean everyone clear with the sample application which we created? Any questions on that, running the applications or anything? You can ask anything, any queries you, if, and I mean, you are having. You don't have to worry about if it is wrong or right. Okay, so I think mostly everyone is understanding everything. So either they are understanding everything, so hence they are not having any questions, or they are not understanding anything. Okay, I'll just stop this application. Okay, pressing control. So for stopping the application, you just have to press Control C. Okay, I'll just close this. What we'll now implement is that we'll be creating an Angular to-do list application. Okay, and inside this to-do list application, a user should be able to see a list of tasks. Okay, from mock. Mock is nothing but a static JSON which we can create. I mean, which contains existing created data. Okay, then we need to add a details. A user should be able to add new details as well. Then also the user can edit and delete the individual task details. Okay, so this application we will be creating now. So moving on with the first step is that we need to create the application and add fonts for our application. Okay, so I've already created application for this to-do list application. So for you, you just need to run the command. As you all know that to create an application, we just need to run the command ng new, then the name of the application, uh, what we'll be creating. Okay, so I have created a Angular to-do list application, which is the name of the application. Okay, and then once that is done, you can just go to the actual folder where it is created. Okay, so this is the structure. Then inside source, we can just add fonts. So I'll just share this fonts with you. I think someone is having any questions. Okay, so I'll just share the fonts with the.
Sir, if you share the PPT and code, then I can share with them.
Yes, I'll share the PPT as well. But for fonts, these are individual files which I need to share. I'll just share with you, ma'am. Okay. So I've shared the fonts with ma'am. She'll share with you all. So Kushali ma'am, let me know when.
Yes, sir. I shared PDF, sir. Whatever you said, that I shared with students.
Okay.
Student, please refer it from chat.
Yes. You can just copy the fonts Lato bold and Lato regular. Okay, and just paste in the. You just have to go to the assets inside source. You have to go to assets, create a folder named as fonts, and inside fonts you just have to paste both the fonts. I think this must have been done for everyone. Then we can move on to the next step then. Okay, so create the application and add font. So you must have already created a sample application. Okay, and inside the app.component.html file. Hello, my voice is audible, right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So just open the application which we created in the Visual Studio Code. What we will do is that we'll just uh, go to the application and just run ngserve. So I've already created a to-do list application. I'm just running it.
Students, files are being shared in chat section. Please refer that. Just follow the instruction what sir.
Okay. So when uh, if you run the application, it should be running on the port 4200 look, and you can just paste the URL localhost 4200 in your browser. Your application should be running. Now we will go to the app component.html file. Okay. Inside the app component.html, currently we are having a header component and we are having a router outlet. So for outlet, I will make you understand why we are using this. But for header component, what we'll be doing is that firstly you need to go to navigate to app, cd source, cd app, and just have to create a component. So the command for creating a component is ng generate component and the name of the component. Now I will be creating a component named as header new. Okay. You as well create the component named as header, because I already have a component named as header. I have created a component named as header new. If you go to header, here you can see it has created a HTML file, then a styling file for that component. Then it has a TS file where we write all the logic, and it also has a spec file. Spec file is nothing but it is used for unit testing purposes. So you can write the unit test case for your for your component inside this spec file. So we won't be writing any unit test case today, but it is used in real life applications to, and it is also used to detect the errors for your application very early. Okay. That is the reason developers need to do unit testing for the application. Here you can see the selector name is app header new. Okay, I'll just copy this and go here, just paste here. I'll save this. Now you can see there is no header. Okay, font is not visible actually. We need to update the color for the just style color, just right. Here you see the newly created component, we are able to see it, and also the to-do list component. So for the header, what we will do is that we will just add more styling for the header. Okay, so I'll just revert the changes here, and I've already added styling for existing header component. The code I'll share with you afterwards, after the lecture is done. But meanwhile, I'll just explain you what I've added in the header component. Okay, I've added a nav bar basically, and given some styling for that header. Okay, and inside this there is a div for which as well I have given styling, and just pasted some text and
Sir, you're not audible.
oh, I'm so sorry, I was on mute. Okay, so this is a title property which we have created for inside the header component. Okay, and this title property we are giving a default value. This is a default value which we are giving, and we will be updating this title dynamically. Okay, this is a string property. You can also do it like this if we want to specify it. Since we have put it in, I mean, single quotes, it will take it directly that this is a string property, and this title we want to update it dynamically. So we are having couple of applications like a to-do list application and a shopping cart application. Okay, so based on which application I'm currently on, which page I'm currently on, I want to update the title. So what we will do is that we'll add that property which we created in the TS file. Okay, title property, and use it inside double braces basically. So this is a string interpolation syntax. Okay, if we want to use any properties in the HTML, HTML file, you need to mention it with this syntax. Okay, we'll just save it and just navigate to our application on the browser. Here you can see I clicked on to-do list application. Okay, and the title is currently to-do list application. But now if I click on the shopping cart application, okay, the title is updated dynamically. So how this is done? Okay, I'll show you. So what we are doing is that we are using a event. So click is an event. There are multiple events which can be used in our Angular application. So whenever we click on a particular div or some title, what we will be doing is that we can use this click event. Okay. So we have created a function on click to-do list app. So what it will do is that on click to-do list app, what it will do is that it will navigate to a to-do list URL. Okay, this URL where we will be creating is in the app.routing file. This is the routing file for our application. As I told you, whatever routes which we will be using giving for in the application, we have to mention in this routes constant. Okay, so currently we have on created a couple of components, to-do list component and shopping cart component, and the path. If there is a empty path and we are not specifying any path, then it will still navigate to the to-do list component. You can see here, if we just enter go to localhost 4200 and we don't provide any path and the path is empty, still it is navigated to the to-do list component. Okay, this is the default path which we have to go give. Then the path will be to-do list. If the path is to-do list, then it will navigate to the to-do list component application. And if the path is shopping cart, it will navigate to the shopping cart component. So these are same components created similar to the header component which we have created. Okay. Now if we go here, we can see the router. Router is nothing but the router module which we learned in the PDF. Basically, it is used for navigation purposes. So what we need to do is that we need to import the router from the Angular router. Then we need to inject it in the constructor, and we need to use its instance to navigate to a particular page. Okay, so I have put here, if we click on to-do list app, then user should be navigated to the to-do list application. And here you can see I'm updating the title as well. So how this title is dynamically getting updated, it is from here. So when I click on to-do list app, the title will be to-do list application. But when I click on shopping cart, the title which we are updating is the shopping cart application. And we will be navigating the user to the shopping cart. Okay. So this is about the navigation. You can have multiple pages in your application. You can have many modules, and inside those modules you can have many pages as well.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I am unable to find that apps routing.module ts file. I have created an app, but that file is missing in the file section.
Inside app.
Yes, inside app, sir. In source folder, that file should be there. That is missing.
App folder is there.
Inside source, inside app folder, that app-routing.module.ts file should be present, right?
Yes.
But in my app, it is not there.
So what is the version you are running on? Angular
Of
version?
Sir, I'm running Angular version 17.3.3
So while
and my Node version is 20.11.1.
20.11.1. Okay, actually there is a compatibility issue. Okay, for Angular 17, the compatible node version is node uh, node 20.9. So
20.9.
yes,
Okay,
if you
sir. So
if you
how
want
can
to
I
check the
install
yes,
that version?
uh, I have shared the link with you. I think ma'am had shared the link with you on chat, with you all on chat. So you just need to click on this link and it will download an MSI. If we can
Okay.
see here, this is a Node MSI, okay, version 20.9.0. Firstly, you need to uninstall your existing Node version from control panel. Okay, just you can go to control panel. From here, you can uninstall Node, okay, first, and then install from that executable file, MSI, this file.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
but I think that shouldn't be an issue for what you are telling. I mean, the app routing module is missing. So while
Yes,
creating
sir.
the application, what is the command you which you ran?
So ng new and application name.
Application name, na? So
Yes, sir.
as I told you that from Angular 17, uh, the default structure which is created is for a standalone application. Okay, so it won't be so there must be there shouldn't be an app module as well in your application. If we can see, so folder structure should be like this. I think. See like this, right?
Sir, app
App,
module is also not there.
yes, yes. It will be like this. App routes, then app config, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, it is similar to this, sir.
Yes. So that is the reason when we created the application now, we provided another, I mean, this hyphen configuration, hyphen no standalone. So if you create the application with this flag now, then you should be able to get that routing model.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
You can create
Thank
a
you, sir.
new application. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
With another. Okay. Okay. So anyone having any queries in the routing of the application? We can have many components and just give the path here and the component name here as well. Now again moving on to the app component. Inside the app component, the header will be static throughout our application. So it will be fixed, hence we are using header directly. And the router outlet is that it will update the component automatically when whatever routing we are using. I mean, if we navigate to the to-do list app, the router outlet here will update the component. So that is the use of the router outlet here. So app header won't be getting updated, but only the content below it. So here you can see this will be static, okay, but the content below it. So currently we are in to-do list. So here we are getting the data from the to-do list application. But if I go to shopping cart, here you can see the header is static, but only the data below it is getting updated. Okay, so this is the work of the router outlet. Here the header of the application will be static and only the content for the components will be getting uploaded. This is the concept of the single page application. So now moving on to the to-do list application. Here you can see it. This is the to-do list works which we are seeing here. If we navigate to the to-do list application, what we will do is that we will just remove this to-do list and we'll just create a task. I'll show you how I've created this. So whatever value you give here, this is an input field, okay? And we are using a show hide feature. Here you can see when I click on hide, it will hide the details for that task. And if I click on show, it will show me the details of the task. And the data is getting dynamically updated. See, whatever we type in the input, it is dynamically getting updated. So this is called two-way binding in Angular. Whatever we type, it is also getting updated on the view. So this is two-way binding. We'll just navigate. Okay. So what we'll do is that we'll create a div, and inside the div, we'll create a label named as task name or whatever you can give. This is the label which is here, task name. Okay. Then after that, we'll be creating a text input. Okay. Text input will be creating input ID I've given as name. Then ng model, I'll show you what is this ng model and why it is used. Placeholder which we are giving is that enter name, and this is a required field. Okay. So here, as you can see, placeholder, if we see enter name is the placeholder which we are giving and name is required. So since this is a required field and we haven't provided any data inside it, hence it is giving an error, name is required. If we just enter 1, then it will give me that name should be of minimum 3 letters. So this is the error which it is giving. This is the validation which we are providing here. Okay. So if the name length is less than 1, it will give me name is required error. Okay. Then if the name length is greater than 0 but less than 3, okay. So the requirement is that the task name length should be minimum of 3 letters. So if it is less than 3 and greater than 0, it will give me this error. Okay. If I just add more than 3 characters, the errors are gone now. Okay. So for this, what we will do is that ng model. So ng model is nothing but it is used for two-way binding. Okay. It will bind our property in the TS file. So here I've created a property which is a to-do, which is a to-do property, which is of type task. Okay. So task is nothing but I've created a model. You can see there is a to-do list model, and inside this model, I've created an interface. So interface, it is used for binding. I mean, you can in I have created a interface for a task, and inside that interface, I have given couple of properties like ID and name. Okay, and task details, I've created another interface named as task details. So it will have same properties, ID, name, but also it will have extra additional properties like the task description, then whether the task is completed or not. Okay, this will be a Boolean property. I mean, its value will be either true or false, and the completed percentage. So how many percent the task is completed. So it will be a number like from 0 to 100. So currently we will be using this task which contains ID and name. So here you can see I've created a to do property of type task, and I'm just giving a default value to it. So if you want to give a default value, you just need to add it inside an object and just give the ID and name for that. So if you can see here, if I just reload this application, here you can see task1 is the default value which is given to this property. So if I just go and update here to task2, ID will just the same, and I'll just save it. Here you can see this task2 is the default value. This is nothing but a default value which we are giving, okay, and this is the property name. So how we are binding is that inside the HTML, in the ng model, I mean the square round brackets and square brackets, this is the syntax for two-way binding, okay, and inside this we are using this property. To do is nothing but an object, and that object has a name property inside that. So we are binding the name to the input, two-way binding, okay. And what we are doing is that after this there is a key up event. So whenever we are pressing our keyboard keys, okay, and whenever we just release a key, then it will trigger this key up event. And on key value up, what we will do is that we'll just create a function on key value up. It will just validate the name, whether it is a valid name or not, okay. If not, then will it can return an error, okay. So here I've just consoled the error here. We will just go to the application. Here you can see it is returning false. I have entered 1, 2, 3, okay, and it is returning false in case of the value that this is not a valid regex. I mean, what are the name we are provided? So it is not validate. I mean, it is not uh, satisfying these conditions, hence it is giving us false. So similarly, you can do validations using regex as well. Okay. Moving on to the button field, how we are hiding and showing the details. Okay, that for that I've created a button, simple button of type button. I've given some classes. These are bootstrap classes. I've told you to install bootstrap and prime-ng and prime icons. So once these are installed in your applications, you will be able to find it in the package.json. Here you can see bootstrap is installed, bootstrap icons and prime-ng is installed as well. So once these libraries are installed, then you need to go to angular.json file, and inside the styles section you need to navigate to the architect build. Then inside the styles, above the styles.css file, you need to add this thing URLs as well, and these are there in the node modules. So whatever packages which we installed for our application, those are getting installed inside the node modules. So this is the path for those files. Then the button, this is the class bootstrap classes basically. Then I have just given a style that the button should be the margin for that button should be 15 pixels left. And then the click functionality, click event. So on click add, what we will do is that this is the button name, okay, and this button name is the property which we are giving inside the TAS file. Here you can see this is the button name. This is a string property. Okay, and currently the default value for that button is show. Here you can see the default value is show. And once we click on show, it will show the task details. Okay, and we'll navigate to the on click add functionality. Here you can see if the length, I mean the to do dot name, to do is nothing but the object, task dot name dot length is greater than 1, then what it will do is that each details visible, it will update the button name. Okay, from show to hide and hide to show. And similarly, it will also show and hide the each details visible property. So each details visible property is a boolean property which is used to hide the div. So this is the div which we have created, the details div which we have created, and we are using ngIf. ngIf is a directive. Okay, it is used to show a div based on a certain condition. So if details visible, so when we click on the show button at that, and this value of this is details visible is true, then only this will be visible, or else it won't, the div won't be visible in our view. So here you can see if I click on hide, the div is now gone because the is details visible property is false now. When we click on show, we are updating it to true. Here inside this to-do list component. Here we are updating it as each details visible is equal to not this dot is details visible. So this was just a simple uh, uh, simple app, I mean example of how we can add a task and update the value of a property or the task name using two-way binding. Task 2, 3 like this, and using directives how we are hiding the details of the task. So you can use the show hide button for that, and we are using ngIf directive as well. Any questions? Okay, we can just move ahead with creating the actual application. So now we just created basic components, header component and to-do list component. We created an application and added fonts. We created a header and to-do list components. Then we given the navigation for our component inside the router file. Now what we'll do is that we'll list all tasks in the table. Okay, so we'll just see the list of details from mock. For that, what we will do, I'll just add this. Firstly, we need to navigate to the assets folder, and inside mock, we need to create a JSON file. Just currently, we are not integrating any API from backend. That is the reason we are creating static dummy data, task data. I've created 3 tasks, created an JSON array, and inside that I've created 3 objects basically, task 1, task 2, and task 3, for which I've updated the data accordingly. So to get this task.json file, fetch this similar to how we fetch in the API. We create a service. So the command to create a service is ng generate service. This is a short form. You can also write ng generate service like this. Ngg is a short form. S is for service, and then you can just give the name of the service. So like to-do list service. So I've already created a to-do list service for that. And once the service is created, what we will be doing is that inside this to-do list service, I'm uh, injecting a HTTP client. So as I told you that to fetch or API data, we use HTTP client module. So this is the HTTP client module which we are using, and we'll create a get task list details from JSON function to fetch the data, and then using the instance of the HTTP client, we uh, get. So currently we are fetching details, so we use get. So if you want to create a new record, then you use post. If you want to update an existing record, then you use put. So these are all HTTP verbs: get, put, post. And if you want to delete an existing record, then you use HTTP delete. Or as well, you can use post put as well for that. And patch is also used. So if there are 10 properties in an object, and if you want to just update name and description for that object, for that task, then you can use patch as well. So currently we are just fetching the details from the JSON. For that, we give the path for that JSON, and we use HTTP client.get. And to actually get the details, what we will do is that we will go to our to-do list application. And inside this to-do list application, we will create a function get task detail. So get task detail, and this is the service. This is the to-do list service which we created. We'll just inject it in the constructor. So if we want to use any of these services in our application, we need to inject it inside constructor. So we have already injected this to-do list service which we created, and we will use it here, its instance. And then what we want to do is that get the task list details from JSON. And once this is done, then you have to subscribe. So this will return an observable. Okay, observables are nothing but used for synchronous programming. Okay, promises observables, and these are from used from RxJS, from the RxJS library. So if we want to get data, then we have to from observable we have to subscribe to it. So inside this subscribe, what we will get is the if response from that get task list details API. So that response we will be assigning to a task details object. So task details is nothing but 10. Okay, so all the mock data which will be coming, it will be assigned to this task details array. So here response we are attaching to the task details. I'll just show you. Okay. And if we get any error while fetching the data from the API, it will it will be catched in this error section, and you can just console it, or you can also show it to the user that this is the error which we are getting from the API. And these task details are then assigned to a table. So I've already created a table here. This is a table which I have created, and inside this I have created 5 columns: ID, name, description, completed percent, and completed uh, percentage. And similarly, the data which we are getting from task details from the mock, which we iterate using ng-for. So inside the tr tag, we are iterating it. So what we'll get is an object from task details. For every object, we are iterating using ng-for. Then we will just display the ID, name, description, completed percentage inside the td section. Okay, here you can see this task 1, task 2, and task 3 we have already created inside the mock file. Navigate to the mock. Here you can see ID is equal to 1, task 1, task 1 description. The status is false because it is only completed 80%, and here task 3 is completed 100%, and the completed status is true. So these 3 details we are now getting here on the task list details table. Task name, description, IDs, completed status. You can see here I've used a progress bar, PrimeNG progress bar for this, and the completed status. So currently here you can see that here we are getting true or false, but how we are able to show here uh, cross mark and a check mark basically based on true or false. So for that, what we have done, that if you can see here, I've used inside TD, I've used a ng class. Ng class is a type of directive only. If we want to style our data, then we are using based on, I mean, conditionally we have to style, then we use ng class. It is a directive, and then if what I'm doing here is that if data dot completed is true, then it will show a field circle, which is a check, I mean check mark, and it will give a text success class, which is a green color. Okay, and if this is false, then it will give a cross mark with the text danger, which is the red color. So this is how we are showing this here: cross mark, and check mark. Since for 100% the status is completed is true. So similarly, what we will do now is that we'll create a new task. We'll add a new task in this list. For that, again, I have used a button, add new task button I have created. We have similarly used the click event for that and created a new task, add new task function. And what this add new task will do is that it will uh, make the submitted to false and the task details to true. So what we'll do is that the task dialog will be true. I'll show you the actual implementation. So when we click on add new task, this is the dialog which is getting opened. Okay, so here what it will do is that task dialog is equal to true. Currently the default value for task dialog is false. So as we have seen for the each details visible, similarly here we are using this task dialog, and which is a false. So the default value for that is false. So the dialog is not visible. Only when we click on add new task, the dialog will be visible. Here you can see when we click on add new task, the task dialog, we are setting it visible to true. Okay. Now inside this dialog, I have created three three fields, basically name, description, and the completed percentage. So for this name, what we will do is that we have used a prime ng dialog, okay, and the visibility here we are setting it based on the task dialog value, which will be true or either false. Okay, the header for this dialog we are giving is task details. We can also change it from here, the header. We just save it, task details new. You'll see when I click on add new task, the header for this dialog is getting updated. Okay, task details new. Similarly, we are giving a input field which is of type text, okay, and for name, which is a required field, and autofocus. So what is autofocus is that whenever, if I just click here you can see the default focus is on the name input field. The cursor is directly on the name input field. Hence, we have came. This is the property feature for the autofocus, and we have also given here the similar error which we have given up as well. When the length is less than 1, then it will give name is required error. And similarly for two-way binding, we are giving the property as name, and similarly for other input fields as well. For description as well, the details are same. Only things we update is the name of the description, and then for completed percentage as well. For completed percentage, we are using a numeric field, okay, for which the minimum value will be 100. Maximum, since it is a percent, it will be between 0 and 100. So for input number field, we can give minimum value 0 and maximum 100, and the length for that can always be 100 and not greater than that. If you can see here, I will just create a task, that task 4. I'll give some description and completed percentage as 100. So if you can see, even if I'm pressing more, but I'm not able to add after 3, because we have given the max length as 3, and minimum and maximum are 0 to 100. So if I just give here 200, I'm not able to give 200 and just save. It will still take 100 only, because maximum, the maximum which we have given here is 100. So it will take the maximum value only. Here you saw how now the newly created task is getting added in the list. Similarly, we can add more tasks as well. I'll just put the % to 40 and save. So it will give a toasted at task details added successfully. You can close this, and the completed percentage. Here you can see based on the percent, if it is 100, then only it is showing a check mark, or else it is showing a cross mark. So this is about adding a new task. Similarly, we can also edit an existing task. So this is the list of tasks which are there. Okay, so we can also edit an existing task. So when we click on edit, what will happen is that inside this, I've created two fields, on click edit and on click delete. So when we click on edit, what it will do is that it will pass the data of that object on which field we have clicked. On click edit data, what it will do is that if I just click on edit on task 5, what data it has sent is that a task with ID 5, task name 5. So this is the object which is being sent from here on click edit. Here you can see I'm just consoling that data here, and then on click edit what on click edit will do is that it will set the data in the task model, and it will set the task dialog to true. So earlier the dialog is false, task dialog. Only clicking on the edit or add, it will show the task dialog with the existing details what we are already there. So if we just update it to 50 and save, here you can see the details are getting updated from 100. Earlier it was 40 and now it has been updated to 50. Similarly, we can also update the task name and description. And for delete as well, the same functionality. When we click on delete, what we will do is that it will first ask for confirmation. Are you sure you want to delete the details for task 6? Okay, if we click on no, it will just close the dialog, and it will, if we click on yes, as you can see, task details deleted successfully. Task is now deleted successfully. So here as well, on click delete, we are passing the delete data object. Okay, and what it will do is that we have created a function inside the to-do list component. What it will do is that there is a confirmation service inside the PrimeNG library, which we can use for confirming, because we usually, it is a good practice that we should ask the user to confirm whether he wants to delete a particular data or not. Okay, hence we are using the confirmation service for getting the confirmation that are you sure you want to delete the details for. Then the data what we are passing is that it's data.name. So what it will do is that it will ask, are you sure you want to delete details for task 4? So this task 4 is dynamic. So whatever it will come from that data, we are showing it here, and then again a question mark. Then the header which we are giving is confirm. Here you can see confirm header is there. Then icon is a exclamation triangle, which is there, and then what we do is that we are using a filter function. So what we will do is that this is the task details list, okay, which is currently visible to us. This is the task details list. It has 4 tasks currently. So what this will do is that it will go to this task details list and filter. So filter is an array method. What it will do is that it will filter all the data which all the data which is not having ID of this. So to remove this ID, what we'll do, we will keep only that data whose ID is not matched with this from the existing data. So once that is done, we will assign it again to the task details, and similarly, we will show the task details successfully message. And this is how the data is getting removed from the task details array using the filter. So filter method is used to find a particular ID, and then it will return all the data that does not match this ID. Here you can see value.id is not equal to data.id, then only it will return that data. And that data will get saved in the task details, which is then visible here. Similarly, we'll just delete task 4 as well. See. So any questions on this? How we are hiding the dialog or creating a new task, updating a new task? I know this must be a little difficult for you all. currently because we are having such a short time, but we already have created a application, a CRUD application, basically to view, update, and delete a task. So any questions on any of the functionality or anything you want to know about Angular? Okay, so I'll be sharing this application with Khushali ma'am as well. I'll share the zip file for this application. What you need to do is that just download this zip file and just run npm install inside the application name folder. And once that is done, then just navigate to the application name folder and run ngserve. So for you should be able to then run the application without any errors. Okay, and this is, I just have created a to-do list application. Similarly, you can create a shopping cart application as well. So I'll give you a short assignment that you can practice during the weekend. So similar to the to-do list application, we have used add functionality, then update, delete, and list functionality. You can create a shopping cart application where you can list uh, a number of uh, you can list a number of uh, products in the application. I'll just show you how you can do that as well. I'll just create one more mock products of JSON. What I'll do, just copy this product name, description, and price will be here. Product name you can use chart. Price will be 15. That's it. 30,000. So now what I'll do is that I'll use this same product to show in the list. Move to, I'll create a shopping cart service as well. Ng generate service shopping and cart. Site this service. Products get product details from JSON. Okay, now we want to get fetch the details here. What you will do, that increments Site constructor, you need to inject the shopping cart service. Shopping cart service. Okay. Set on unit. We will do and create a array named as product details array, and I'll assign the data to this product details. Shopping cart. Stop shopping cart. Get product details from JSON. And what we have to do is that we have to subscribe and same what we'll do. You see changes here. But instead of task details, we'll be updating product details. Product details. Okay. Now the data is assigned to product details. Inside the HTML, what we'll do, we'll create a table tr th with id when description and price. Here we'll be using the ng4 let data of product details. We'll be using 2 line data dot id. This down type never, but that what we need. Similarly, we'll show name, description, and price again. Name, description, price. Now we just go to shopping cart application. Some styling issue. Product profile. We'll use this style. Here you can see we have created a shopping cart table. Similarly, you can create a list of items, and then you can provide a add button here, and once you click on that add, then that a product should get added to the shopping cart. So I'll give you the uh, assignment for that, that can create the same shopping cart application using the same features which we have used here. Like if we click on add, or how we are adding task details here. Similarly in shopping cart as well, you can click on add, and this product should get added to a shopping cart. And then similarly, if we go to that cart, you should be able to edit and delete that item from that cart. How we are editing and deleting the task from here. So this is how you can implement the changes in the for the shopping cart application as well. So any queries or any questions? Shali ma'am, do you have anything?
No, sir, it's going properly. Up till now, it's proper, sir.
Okay. So I think for Angular, most of the things, I mean, basic things I have covered up. I mean, we created an application, then we have used the navigation as well, how we have navigated from one page to another. Then we created a list for all tasks. We added a new task, then edited and deleted an individual task. And designing the application is nothing but the styling for that application, which we have given here. You can see the color and look and feel which we have given. This is how, I mean, most of the applications are implemented. Okay, and at the beginner level, these are the things that we need to learn. But as you go ahead, there are many other things as well. So if you want to know anything more about Angular, you can just come up with any questions now, as well as I have shared my email ID with Ushali ma'am. Then you can get my email ID from her as well. And also I'll be sharing the zip for this application. Uh, you just have to run the npm I command, and then uh, run this application using ngSer. And similarly, you can implement the shopping cart application as well, like to-do list application, and many more you can add. I mean, to-do list application, shopping cart, and many other applications as well you can add. You can just practice the same.
Okay, students, if you are having any doubt, you can please ask. Anyway, sir is sharing their email ID and the contact information are there with us. If you're having any doubt, then you can contact them directly, or you can contact the coordinator, me or the net man. Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing and showing us the hands-on on Angular. And I think they get a clarity on on the basic concepts of Angular and how to create a to-do list and all. So basically, whatever the required for the Angular, you have covered almost everything. Thank you so much sir, for taking out your time and sharing your knowledge with us.
Okay. Thank you, Kushali ma'am, for giving me this opportunity. And if surely anyone having any queries and want to make a career in front-end development, they can, I mean, connect with me as well. I can guide them easily.
Thank you so much, sir. Actually, we require some internship opportunities for our students. We are seeking for them. So after this, maybe they require some internship opportunity. We will definitely be in touch with you. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Students, we are sharing the recorded video. Please share with your classmates. And if there is any doubt, you can contact LeanNetMed only. Students, please leave the meeting.
मला दिवस आहे ना दिवस आहे ना